The problem we have at hand is 6b. We're only doing 6b and 6f because those are the two most challenging problems, I think. 6b and 6f. All right, so here we have it. We have let's just say 6b. The problem is 6b. And the question we have is 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 4x plus 3 divided by quantity 2x minus 3. And I wanted to state a fact before we can solve this problem. So this is a fact that if you have two things you're dividing, m minus n divided by n. So if you have m divided by n, it's the same as if you take m divided by a and then divide it by n divided by a. All right. So as I was saying, if you look at the quantity, if you want to divide it m by n, it's a fact that if you take m divided by a and divide it by n minus a, you still have the same thing as if you were dividing m by n, provided, of course, that a is not 0. So for example, 25 divided by 5 is equal to, we know it's 5, which is going to be the same as 25 divided by 5, which is 5, and 5 divided by 5, which is 1. So 5 divided by 1 is going to become 5. Let's do another example. So if you wanted to take 84 and you want to divide it by 16, you kind of don't know this 16 times table that well. You're going to basically do, you can do 84 divided by 4, which is an easier problem, and then divided that by 16 divided by 4. So in the end, what you have here is 21. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So it's going to have 21 divided by 4, which is a much easier problem, right? Which we know just becomes 5 and 1/4. But it's an easier problem than dividing 84 divided by 16. You can try that. This is what we're going to be using right now. So I want to divide this this 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 4x plus 3. I want to divide that by 2x minus 3. Problem is, if I'm going to use synthetic division, I don't have any process that tells me about what happens when this is greater than 1 or different from 1. So what I'm going to do is I need to know that this is going to be the same as if I take 2x cubed and divide everything by 2 minus 7 over 2x squared plus 4 over 2 plus 3 over 2. All divided by, this is going to now be divided by 2 also. 2x over 2 minus 3 over 2. So that's the weakness of the synthetic division. It doesn't help you a lot when you have this number different from 1. But we can still work with it, right? So that's going to give me now, that's going to give me x cubed minus 7 over 2. You have a calculator, so you don't have to worry about the fractions. X squared. Sorry, there should be an x here. And plus 4 over 2 is going to be 2, so that's 2x. Clean the board, a little dirty. So that's going to be 2x and plus 3 over 2. All right, and I'm taking this, and now I'm dividing it by 2 over 2 is 1, which is what I wanted, 1x minus 3 over 2. Awesome. So now I can do my synthetic division. All right, now I can do my synthetic division because I'm only worried about this thing down here. Okay, so again, we're looking at 6b. And so what I have now is I have x minus 3 over 2 is going to be divided into, I need to write it a little bigger, a little to the left. So I'll have x minus 3 over 2 is, we're dividing that into x cubed minus 7 over 2x squared plus 2x plus 3 over 2. All right, so pause that. All right, so now we have all the terms we need. So I'm going to proceed to do synthetic division. So again, I have something in terms of x minus c. So I have my c term, which is my 3 here. So now I can take my 3 over 2, right? I can have my coefficients, which is going to be 1, negative 7 over 2, 2, and 3 over 2. Those are my values, all right? My coefficients and my constant. So obviously this should be a little longer. All right, so, all right. So now I'm going to take this, 1 down, all right, as usual. And I'm going to do what? I'm going to do 1 times 3 halves is going to be 3 halves. So I'm going to add it here. And 3 halves and negative 7 over 2 is going to be negative 4 over 2. And we know negative 4 over 2 is what? So again, let's add. Get your calculator. Negative 7 over 2 plus 3 over 2 is going to be negative 4 over 2. All right, so sorry about that. So again, negative 7 over 2 plus. Okay, so I'm adding now. So again, 1, take the 1 down. 1 times 3 over 2 is 3 over 2. If I add negative 7 over 2 and I'm adding 3 over 2, I'm going to get negative 4 over 2. But what is negative 4 over 2? We know it's not going to be too hard afterwards, right? So now we're going to go to this. Negative 4 over 2 is simply written as negative 2. Again, negative 4 over 2 is just negative 2. All right, cool. So now I'll go back and I multiply. Negative 2 times 3 over 2 is just going to be negative 3, which I'm going to write here. So again, negative 2, your fractions have to be good here, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the issues in math. Fractions have to be good. So it's going to be negative 3. 2 minus 3 plus negative 3 is going to be negative 1. All right, negative 1 times negative 3 over 2 is just going to be negative 3 over 2. Awesome, because that works out to be 0. So even though I'm working with fractions, my answers still come out to be nice. And so that's my answer. So this is now this is going to be my what? This is going to be my remainder. So my remainder is 0. This is going to be my constant term. This is going to be my x term, and this is going to be my x squared term. So my answer then to this problem is just going to be 1x squared plus negative 2x, which I can just write as negative 2x. So it's going to be 1x squared negative 2x, right? Or plus negative 2x, which is just negative 2x, minus 1. And the remainder is 0, so I don't have to write that. So that's my answer. So if you look on your answer key for 6b, that should be x squared minus 2x minus 1. So we have to be correct. All right, again, you don't have to put the 1 there. Put it there to show you where the values come from. All right? So that's using synthetic division. All right, so let me go over it one more time. Go over this concept one more time. Okay, so what I'm saying is you have 2x cubed, going back to 6b. You got 2x cubed minus 7x squared minus 7x squared plus 4x plus 3. And you are dividing this by, you're dividing this entire thing by 2x minus 3. And what I'm claiming is you can actually divide through every single term by 2. And the reason I claim that because, for instance, the question I used a while ago, let's use a different example. We know that 256 divided by 256 divided by 8. All right, so let's suppose I don't know my 8 times table that well. Again, I'm using an example here about why this works. If you have a calculator, this is pretty cool. I can actually divide this by, this can just become 256 divided by 4 divided by 8 divided by 4. All right, to divide both sides by the same number and I'm good to go. And I know that 4 into this number, 25, I happen to know the 4 times table pretty well. So this is going to be 4 into 25, it's going to be 6 times 16, 4 into 64. So I know that's going to be 64 divided by 2. Now I can actually just write the answer as 32, but now I'm going to go back and I can do 64 divided by 2 is the same as 64 divided by 2 divided by 2 divided by 2, which is going to be 32 divided by 1, which is 32. The point I'm making is when you're dividing by something, when you're dividing two things, you can divide through the first thing by a number and the second thing by the same number. That's what I did in the beginning. So that's why this problem became x cubed minus 7 over 2 x squared plus 2x plus 3 over 2. And divided by x, divided by x, this is x, 2 divided by 2 is 1, it's 1x, minus 3 over 2. So that's what I was shooting at, that's what I was getting at, right? And what I'm saying is that once I have that, synthetic division now can become easy because now I have something in the form of x minus c. I got my c, which is 3 over 2. We have a calculator, so that doesn't, it should be easy now to work with. So I got 3 over 2 as my c, right? And I have my coefficients 1, negative 7 over 2, 2, so 1, negative 7 over 2, 2, and then I have 3 over 2 as my constant, right? And so what I'm saying now is this process of synthetic division, all right? So this process of synthetic division now becomes a little easier, right? So now I'm going to bring my 1 down and I start my process. 1 times, I need to erase this. 1 times 3 over 2 is going to be 3 over 2. And I'm adding these. When you add fractions, I add the numerators. Minus 7 plus 3 is going to be minus 4 over 2. But I know that minus 4 over 2 is just the same as negative 2. So this is just negative 2. So that's what I'm dealing with. All right. And so negative 2 times 3 over 2 is going to be negative 3. Use a calculator to confirm this. And so I'm going to now do, so my answer goes here, obviously. I have this back and forth process. So I'm going to add 2 and negative 3 is going to be negative 1, right? Which I'll write down here. And negative 1 times 3 over 2 is going to be negative 3 over 2. And now I add negative 3 over 2 to negative 3 over 2, and I'm just going to get what? I'm just going to get 0. All right? So my board just went all the way down. I'm just moving back. All right, so now I'm good to go. So this is my remainder term here. The negative 1 is my constant term. Negative 2, is my coefficient of a constant. Just my constant term, rather. And the negative 2 is the coefficient of x, and the 1 is the coefficient of x squared. So my answer is just going to be x squared, right? It's 1x squared, same as x squared, minus 2x minus 1. The remainder of 0 means I can leave it like that. And so this is what you would get. All right? So that's the second time around. So if you're still having some trouble, I would suggest just watch the video, all right? All right, so I'm going to do the 6b again as synthetic division, right? As regular long division next time.